mother is a miracle. Every mother is the Master's best creation. Because God could not be present everywhere, He created mothers. Yes, I am talking of mothers because the very first poem of our book is based on my mother at 66. Be it whatever age, a mother remains a mother. Be it whatever age of a child remains a child for the mother. Let's see what this poem tells us. It's a poem written by Kamla Das. Let's know a little about her. Kamla Das was born in Punayurkulam, Thrissur, Kerala. She is recognized as one of India's foremost poets. Her works are known for their originality, versatility, and the indigenous flavor of the soil. Kamla Das has published many novels and short stories in English and Malayalam under the name Madhavi Kotti. Now she is a lot connected to her soil, so she talks all about it. Yeah, I shall read this poem without stopping to explain. I need to understand how much you understood while reading the poem. So let's just observe, let's just listen carefully. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me doze, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. And looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes, but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile, smile, and smile. What did that poem bring to you? Did it get you any connect? This you shall know from the theme of the poem. The poem My Mother at 66 is written by Kamla Das, who is famous for capturing complexities of human relationships. The best bond, the best relationship between a mother and a child. It is one of the finest examples of the human bonding, especially that of a mother and daughter. It also describes the pain and the fear of the poet of losing her mother due to harsh reality of life, which is death. So now you see, the poet is actually scared of the harsh reality, the fact, the inevitable fact that everyone is going to die someday. But because we have that very close connection, very intense connection with our parents, especially our mothers, that is where we are not ready to take. So let's see what is there. Let's go line by line and understand the whole poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Beside me, as in next to me, doze was she fell asleep, ashen was pale due to old age. You know, when they grow old, their face gets pale. And like that of a corpse, corpse was a dead body. So she feels the way she is sleeping, she feels her face is so pale, it just looks like it's a dead body lying next to her. And realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. She just wanted to get rid of that thought. Let's get to the explanation. Every line is going to be explained to you along with the vocabulary. So you will have no problems at all in understanding the line, because poems, see, they are all about understanding the summary. Once you get the summary, Once you get the literary devices, you are through with a poem, right? So let's see the translation, as in the understanding of the lines, and then we will also check on the literary devices, which are also known as the figures of speech or the poetic devices. Poems are all based on those, right? So let's see what the lines have to tell us. In the morning of Friday, the author was traveling in a car. She was traveling from her parents' home to Cochin. Her mother was also in the car with her. She was sitting near her mother. She looks at her mother, who was sleeping. The face of the mother had become yellow. It had become yellow in the sense it had become pale. You know, the blood becomes less as they grow older. The color was same as that of a dead body. I realized that she had become very old. I felt the pain of losing her. Now we are all aware that one point or the other we are going to lose them. But yeah, that pain is terrible to bear. Very soon kept this thought away from my mind. She just distracted her mind. She did not want to go with the fact that I am going to lose her. So she just, puts that thought away. She distracts her mind. What are the similes in these lines? I saw my mother beside me, doze open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Now, can you see the word like? You know what is a simile, right? A simile is a comparison. It is a comparison of two things, and you use the words as or like to compare them. Now here, what are we comparing? Her face, ashen like that of a corpse. So it was that color as the color of the corpse. There's the comparison, and the word like is used, so it is a simile, right? Alliteration. What do you mean by alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound. It is the repetition of the same sound again and again. So do you see the highlighted words? They target m. My mother, me, mouthed. Do you see? It's all talking about m. So alliteration is the repetition of the same sound. It is not repetition of the same word. Okay, there is a difference between these two figures of speech. This is alliteration, where it is repetition of sound, and repetition is a figure of speech which is repeated words. So we will get that as and when we come across it. Moving to the next set of lines. And looked out at young trees sprinting. Now you remember, she saw her mother, and then she just distracted her mind the moment the thought came that she might lose her. So she just distracts her mind. And looked out at young trees sprinting. Sprinting as in the sense running fast, because she was in a moving car. So you could feel the trees are running fast. The merry children spilling out of their homes. Merry as in the happy children coming out of their homes. Now there she saw life. Here what she is seeing next to her is very close to death. But the moment she sees those green trees, those children coming out of their homes, she feels that there is life over there. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, yards as in that's the unit of length, we all know that, right? So when she reached there, she got through her security check, and she was standing a few, yards away from her mother. What does this tell you? Now I looked at the trees that were young. They appeared to be running, because the car was moving. When we move in a train or a car, the trees at distance seem to be moving in the opposite direction. Happy children were coming out of their homes to play. I completed the security check at the airport. After that, I stood some distance away from it. After that, I stood and I saw. Now let's first look at the lines for the figures of speech or the literary devices or the poetic devices. See, it can be asked in any form. They all mean the same. So don't get worried. I'm sure by now you must have discovered that. Now, when I'm talking of metaphor, what do you mean by metaphor? Now, metaphor is a figure of speech which is similar to simile, right? Simile is comparison of two nouns using the words as or like. Metaphor is a comparison of nouns without the words as or like. Now see the difference. Check it here. And looked out at young trees sprinting. Now here it is young trees sprinting. Now is the tree sprinting or it is the young children sprinting? So it's a comparison between the young children and the trees without using the words as or like. Personification also, the same line has personification. What is a personification? When a non-living thing is given the quality of a human being. Now if I tell you, in the poem Daffodils, the daffodils were swaying. Now sway is to move left to right like that. Will the daffodils sway or will the daffodils dance? It is the humans that dance. It is the humans that sway to the music. Right? So the quality of a human being is given to a non-living thing. That is where we called it personification. So young trees sprinting. Were the young trees running? Were they literally running? No, they weren't. They are given the human quality of running. So it is personification. You personify it. Metaphor again. The merry children spilling out of their homes. Now here it is the merry children, the happy children, they are coming out. So there is a happiness, there's a lot of life, there's happiness. So there is a comparison here, and that is the reason this line is a metaphor. Merry children spilling out. Alliteration again, repeated sound, but after the airport security check. A. It is the sound, okay? Don't just look at the letters, but it is the sound as well, right? So these are the figures of speech for lines 5 to 8. Moving to the concluding para. I looked again at her wan, pale as a late winter's moon. Wan as in sick, pale as in yellow. Her yellow face, her sick face, it was looking like a late winter's moon. And felt that old familiar ache, that pain, my childhood's fear. That fear is since childhood. We will know in the explanation. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. Amma, we know, is a mother. See you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile. See you soon, Amma. What does that line tell you? She's going to see her back. So basically when she comes back, she expects her mother to be alive. She expects her mother to be breathing. Yeah? Nobody would ever want them to go, right? I looked at her. That's my mother once again. She was looking sick. Her face was yellow like the moon in the winter season. The face was not shining. Just like the moon does not shine during the winters, right? Likewise was her face. I felt the pain of losing her. This pain was similar to my feelings during childhood when my mother used to move away from me. That time, in childhood, you just cannot stay without mothers, right? Maybe without the father you can, but without the mother, you just don't want to. Every time you come in, ma this, mother this, mama this, we say that, right? Mom, come here. Mom, where are you? The first thing that comes is mother. But I could not say anything to my mother. Obviously, she couldn't tell her anything. I only said that, mother, I will meet you very soon. And then I smiled at her. That's what she told her mom towards the end. Okay, let's move to the literary devices. Again, we have simile. We have a comparison between the pale face and the late winter's moon. There is a comparison and the word as is here. So it is a simile. Comparison of two nouns with the words as or like. Here we have as, so it's a simile. Alliteration, again, repetition of sound. Felt, familiar, fear. Fur, fur, fur. Again, alliteration. Said, see, soon. Sir, sir, sir. Apostrophe, but all I said was, see you soon, Amma. Now here you are addressing the sentence to someone who is not there, who is imaginary, who is probably dead. So this is where you called apostrophe. Repetition, like I already told you right in the beginning, repetition is repeated words. Repetition of the same word, right? So here you see smile, smile and smile. So that's a repetition. Well, I hope this poem has been very clear. The explanation, the summary, as well as the poetic devices. Now, before we conclude on a very sweet note, he didn't realize that love as powerful as your mother's for you leaves its own mark. Now, what are they trying to tell you? J.K. Rowling, very beautiful quote. If you understand it, he didn't realize that love as powerful as your mother's for you leaves its own mark. Obviously, that's the love. That's the magical love of mothers. Very true. Keep realizing this magic with your mothers. Keep watching and keep learning.